Hello, I am Marijke Schuringa-Eisen. I'm a holistic midwife, mother of 2 beautiful children, married to the love of my life, Arnout. I'm a storyteller, and today I am trying to inspire you with my story about hope, light and love. 11 years ago I became a midwife in the Netherlands. I nowadays have my own practice. This means I support women during pregnancy, birth and the first 40 days after birth. In my practice the pregnant women are the leading ladies. I follow them and support with my skills and knowledge. In the Netherlands we have a very respectable name for midwives. Vroedvrouw, it means wise woman, and I wear that name proudly. I am here to tell you about the light, because I saw the light a few years ago, literally when I was pregnant with my son, Hugo. I had serious complications and was admitted to the hospital. There was a lot of fear and everyone thought I was gonna lose our beautiful baby. My water broke in the middle of the day. I didn't expect it and didn't recognize it at first. Although I still remember exactly when it happened and my need to quickly make the phone calls I had to make during my shift. I have my own test for amniotic fluid and when I did them they were positive. I called my colleague, the OB&G, and then called my husband. I will never forget that I told him that everything was going well with me and the baby right now, but that I didn't know if it would stay that way. He came straight away to the hospital, where I meanwhile was admitted with a diagnosis of immature broken membranes. Arnout, my husband, was allowed to stay the night, and it was not because my colleagues wanted to be nice, it was because they knew that a birth with such a small child goes quickly and otherwise he might not be on time. In the evening we gave Hugo his name, Hugo, which means heart, mind and soul. I stopped contacting with him and myself because it simply felt too painful, and in the middle of the night I woke up from a bright light. I wanted to turn to the door because I thought there would be a nurse, and therefore I wanted to turn, but before I could I heard a voice which was saying to me, "You have a choice." At that moment I put my hands on my belly and started talking to my son. I said to him, "I'm your mom and Daddy is here too. We're here for you. Whatever you choose, whatever your life path is, even if it stops right here for you, we are here. And we will guide you in love." I decided to trust. The next morning we woke up and I told my husband what we were going to do. I felt a great determination that I could convey clearly. I said to him, "It will be okay. I don't know what it means, but it will be okay." I noticed that I did not lose a lot of amniotic fluid when I was laying still, so I decided to take bed rest. From that moment on, I cherished every moment with Hugo in my belly. I remained hospitalized until 26 weeks of pregnancy. My husband and I made an action plan together. I felt like Mother Mary, surrounded by all people who contributed knowledge and gave tips. It was as if I received gifts, knowledge, with which I could make the right choices together with my husband and Hugo. I often asked for myself for help and found myself being carried. We decided not to transfer to a university hospital and no medical interventions if our son was born before 26 weeks. We wanted to receive him in love whenever we would have him with us for such a short moment on earth. Often I thought about the dreams I had years before this pregnancy, where I was pregnant and laying in bed with our dog next to me. I now see this as preparation for this pregnancy. And after 15 weeks of bed rest, our son was born completely healthy and fully grown. It really was a miracle. 2 years later, I got pregnant again. This time, my water broke much earlier, at 19 weeks. We were confronted with a lot of resistance, contractions in my body, the OB&G in the university hospital who literally said, "I can't do anything for you." And when my husband said, "But she herself can do a lot by taking bed rest," the OB&G looked at us in surprise and literally said that it was not possible to take bed rest for so long. That wasn't healthy for my body. I couldn't take so much responsibility for this process, and what if it did go wrong? I asked him what he thought it would do with me to not try at all, and how much unhealthier it would be to always ask myself, could I have done more? Of course I took bed rest, and besides that I immersed myself in everything else I could do to get my family healthy through this pregnancy. The funny thing was that long before I was pregnant with Carlijn, I felt her presence. I could describe her in detail. I immersed myself in nutrition, vaccinations, positive thoughts, mind yoga, contact with angels and God. That gave me so much satisfaction. I felt so very strongly that what I was doing was very important. And after 15 weeks, while I was 34 weeks pregnant, she had descended so well that I barely lost any amniotic fluid. And when I moved, I did not have to mobilize at first. I could simply just resume my daily activities without any major problems. Very special, at my due date, I cycled small pots with our son again. I did a beautiful moon ritual to invite our daughter to the earth, with crystals dancing and cleansing my body, and eventually give birth at home in the bath at 41 weeks pregnancy. And as the last part of the delivery started, I shouted, "Give me strength." And again I heard, "You have a choice." I decided to trust. I think an hour later Carlijn was born, our beautiful daughter, who looked at us with the biggest eyes straight into our soul. I choose to follow the path of trust and light. Since then I have been a midwife, a wise woman. I can trust on these sources of knowledge so that I can assist women when they are pregnant or giving birth. Many women experience a period during childbirth when they think they can no longer do it. Some literally cry out for help like me. Others radiate a lot of fear. Giving birth, like the rest of life, is about trust. About seeing the light, even in the darkest moments. When giving birth, something fundamental is touched. Women are aware of their own mortality. This makes them vulnerable and so beautiful at the same time. This reminds me of a special family, where I was allowed to be present at the birth of the first daughter. And with the second pregnancy, they asked me again to be their midwife. While she was almost due, I visited the family at home to talk about the birthing process. I examined this lady, and later on we examined the pregnant cat together. When they called me for the birth of the second child a few weeks later, it turned out 2 weeks before, the cat has given birth to 3 beautiful kittens. And over again she would briefly lie down with the mother and then snore very loudly before going back to her own kittens. When the last phase started, the cat came in again and could not be sent away from the mother. She remained against the mother and snored loudly. It felt very supportive and from a sisterhood kind of bond. This cat gave confidence and a smile on the face of everybody present. Trusting the process and your own intuition is sometimes difficult when you look at the fear-based care a lot of women get. I will never forget a mother who came to me pregnant with a second child. With her first child she had a delivery that went well until the last part, where she was suddenly rushed to the hospital, had to push without feeling this herself, and the baby born in bad condition. And this mother, pregnant of a second child, learned to build trust in her body during this pregnancy. During the delivery, both parents were very confident about and choosing against medical advice to rely on their trust and giving birth at home. When the head was almost born, something very strange happened. The urge to push was gone. The fear of the previous birth was in the mother's eyes. She said, "This is just like the first time." I helped her relaxed on the bed and said to her, "I don't know why this happens, but it is necessary for you or for your child. Trust yourself, pray to your God, and do whatever feels right for you," which they did. This lady laid on the bed in a very special position, not feeling any urge to push. She turned after half an hour and without any hesitation gave birth to her baby in the hands of her husband. This lady later said to me it was exactly the same as the first delivery, and where she had followed the fear at the first delivery, just like her caregivers did, with this birth she kept trusting her body and overcame her fear. She told me that this experience helped her overcome the first one. She was proud of herself, her God, and the trust that was there in the room with her. I think Christ all-awareness is feeling the light within yourself. I love to help women remember that strength, and love is in them. I believe that's what we all need to remember. We are part of the bigger picture. Joining forces of light is all we need. Namaste.